Thank you. Thank you. All right. So I am jumping right in here because what we're going to talk about today is not an ideal wedding day. It's not like where the timeline goes according to plan. There's planners and everybody is just exactly where they're supposed to be at the exact moment. We are talking about a regular wedding day, which is more often where they didn't listen. They didn't want to do a first look. Even though you explained all the benefits of it, they're like, oh, I am traditional and I don't want to do that. It's fine. I don't need to go to cocktail hour. And then after their ceremony, they're looking at you to get done all of their family portraits, all of the bridal party, and the two of them in an hour. And it's absolutely possible, but more often than not, we're left with the last 10 minutes of said hour to do the portraits. So I'm going to teach you what to do in that time so that you will have the most amount of images in a little bit of time. So during this, I am using my absolute favorite lens. I used to be a prime shooter, but I also used to be a Canon girl, but now I am Sony. So I shoot with a7 IVs, and my Sigma lens that I am obsessed with right now is a 28-105, and it's a 2.8 lens. So I can shoot an entire wedding day without taking this off. Now, I typically shoot with two cameras. My other one will have something prime, like a 51.2, maybe an 85, just kind of depends on what's going on. But I can do this entire flow that I'm going to teach you with this one lens. And I can do it if I just leave it at like 35 or 50. I don't have to zoom in and out in order to do what I'm going to teach you, but it does help and makes it a little bit faster if you do have a zoom lens. So in order to really get this done in 8 minutes, you have to have an engagement session. I know there are a lot of people that list them on their price guides. It's like, oh, it's complimentary. And then they say, oh, well, can I take this out? And you're like, sure, it's not going to change the price, but sure. And that's because your clients are looking at it as a inconvenience, honestly, especially if they already have some photos from their proposal or something like that. They're like, I don't have to do that. They're looking at, I don't want to go find new outfits. I don't want to do a whole new location and get my hair and makeup done and do all this stuff. Like, that's what they're thinking about. They're like, if I could skip that, let's go ahead and skip it. But this is imperative for both of you. And so when my clients ask, unless there are crazy circumstances, like they're in the military, they're not going to be together, before the wedding, different things like that, my answer is no. No, you cannot take it out. And this is why. Because it is very, very important that I meet with you, that I pose you, that I know that you have a good side, a bad side, or whatever it is before your wedding day. Because I don't want to discuss this then. I want to know before I get there. And you should want me to know that before I get there. And when I explain all this, and I'm like, okay, and then I'm also going to have you do all these different poses. I'm going to walk you through things. And after the engagement session, and once I've edited everything, I have them go through them, pick out their favorites. And then I do those same poses again, because those are their favorites. They'll be wearing completely different outfits, somewhere completely different. It's not going to say, oh, but this is the same photo as my engagement session. That's not going to happen. I know people worry about that, but that's not what's going to happen. They're actually going to be very happy knowing that you have looked at what they look like and what they love and duplicated it again. So engagement sessions are extremely, extremely important. Now I'm going to go over some general, just regular posing things that I need you to take with you if you don't take anything else from this. Number one is, do not ever manhandle people into poses for any reason. And this may sound extreme to some of you, like, I'd never do that, but I've physically watched people take people's limbs and mold them into poses. And like, that's the first thing they're doing. Then it's not like they're even trying to have them do it themselves and then coming to help. They're just moving them. Put your hand here and touching them. You don't have to do that. Anything you want any couple to do, you can just move them with your own hands and mirror them. So you'll say, oh, hold right here or turn this way. Worst case, you say turn this way, they turn the wrong way. You say, no, the other way. That's it. It's not as complicated as people try to make it sometimes. So like for the two of you, I'm going to have you just hold each other around the back here. Yep, just like that. It's really that simple. If I wanted them to turn a different way, I will talk to them like this. Now, if it gets to the point where I've told them something 2, 3, 4 times, yes, you can come over and help. And I don't mean like, oh, if her hair is, out of place, don't touch her. Those things, they make sense. And of course, you're always going to ask permission before you start touching people in general, but do not manhandle people into poses. Now, another thing that a lot of photographers don't pay attention to, and some people don't actually know, is the suit jacket is also our responsibility. We pay a lot of attention to a bride's gown. We'll pay attention to the train and every little detail of her. And then we'll ask him to do something and he'll like put his arm up like this. And then his suit jacket's gonna come up. And if we're not paying attention, he's definitely not paying attention. He's focused on what you told him to do. Okay, so it is our job to tell them to unbutton the jacket. Now, also, if there are 2 buttons, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 buttons, you never button the bottom button on a suit. It's another thing a lot of people are like, oh yeah, I know that. There are so many people that do not know that. And it's really, really important. I almost didn't get a wedding featured in a magazine because of that small detail. So when I got yelled at by this tailor, I have trauma. So I'm trying to get y'all to avoid the trauma that I went through and just make sure that only the top button out of the 2 is buttoned. Or if there's 3, just the top 2. Now, one of the main reasons that it's important to have an engagement session is because you're going to train your couples to stay in the pose that you put them in until you tell them, okay, we're going to do something different. It doesn't seem like a lot of time, but if they're holding each other and then I'm changing lens, changing anything, and they let go of this pose, it takes extra seconds for them to get back into it and get exactly where you just had them. So you're going to train them, just stay exactly where I'm at. Like y'all didn't even move, and I love that for you. I'm going to have y'all move over just slightly this way though. All right, and last little tip that's in general all couples posing is make sure that their facial expressions always match. I don't care what type of pose you're doing, even if they're separated and one's looking this way and one's looking that way, one should not be smiling while the other one's looking off into the distance. These people are not connected in any way, shape, or form. Now, it's different if you have one, kiss the other one, they should just have their eyes closed and then one can smile at the camera and that type of thing. But in general, make sure that their expressions always match. Now, the most important part of an engagement session is the very, very beginning. And it is a conversation that I have with the couples before I ever pick up my camera. So I'm going to find the most beautiful backdrop of the locations that we talked about. And I'm going to say, okay, go ahead, stay here. I'm going to empty out the guy's pockets if he's got anything. We're going to put it away. And then I'm going to have the conversation. So the very first thing that I'm going to go over, and before I get into this works for any couple. It doesn't matter their gender, sexual orientation, any of that. These work for any couple. But today I'm going to teach you about a heterosexual couple, and you can do the exact same things if there's 2 brides, 2 grooms, whatever's going on. But for this heterosexual couple, we're going to go with Jerez. And Jerez, the first thing I'm going to say to you is you have one job today. Your job is to keep your other hand in your pocket. The other one's going to hold her hand, do something like this. But you're going to keep this other hand in your pocket. That's all you have to do today. That's not necessarily true. I'm probably going to ask him to do some other things. But the first thing that he'll do is relax a little bit. Because he's like, oh, okay, I can do that. Because he's already nervous because men don't know how to pose. They don't know what to do at engagement sessions. So if you tell them that, that's going to lower their stress level. People are always like, oh, what do you do if someone's nervous? We start there by letting them know you have very little to do. Now for you, there are going to be some things for you to do, Monet. At some point, we'll walk, and when you do that, you're going to put one foot in front of the other, okay? And the reason that I instruct them to do that is we naturally just walk like this, but I want to catch her in a stride here, because this is going to make her leg look longer, make her body do a whole bunch of little different things just by that. Now, there are some people who would teach you, oh, Tell them to walk on a tightrope. That is the absolute last thing I ever recommend you do, because then they're really in their head and not here with you or him. Okay. So if you say a tightrope, then they're literally trying to stay on the rope. Just trying to get it in front of the other is enough. Now, I'm also going to have you face each other. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that now. Now in this gown for her, you can't really tell too much of a difference. But when y'all face each other, I'm gonna have you wrap your arms around each other. So get a little closer. And of course, this is going to be very different than a normal couple. They don't love each other. They just met each other like 20 minutes ago. But when they stand, oh, come this way. In the corner. Yeah. But when couples stand up, I always have the woman shift her weight away from me. So it's not bending a knee, because if you say bend a knee, a lot of times you'll end up with this, and this is not what we're going for. But if they keep their feet together, and you can shift your weight, you know, back and forth either way, right? So I'm always going to have her shift her weight away from me, because everything in a camera that goes further away gets smaller. So if you take your waist and you shift it away from the camera, it's going to get smaller. And she does it the other way, she's going to look bigger. And if she wants to try to suck in, which she don't have to suck in nothing, but if anyone wants to suck in, it's going to make you bigger here instead of here. And people can't even tell whether you're sucking in or not from here. It also is going to naturally bend this knee just slightly enough that it gives her a shape, so that when they're standing face to face, he's going to be standing straight up and she'll have a little shape with that little tiny movement. I also tell every single bridesmaid this trick, and I tell them exactly why to do this. So when standing up there with their bouquets, they're going to shift their weight backwards. The knee's going to show in the dress here, and they'll look good. They will appreciate that coming from you, because they're like, oh, you know, they care about what I look like. So definitely share that tip. So I go over these things, and then I will typically ask them if they have any insecurities. This is the most important part. So I say, do you have a good side, a bad side, something that you want to hide, you're insecure about? You're going to look at these photos later and say, I'd like this, but this. The reason that I ask that question ahead of time is so that I have permission to address whatever that insecurity is. So if we just start the session and we're just shooting and I tell them to laugh and she starts laughing and she goes backward and she's like, ha ha ha. And I'm like, oh girl, like we want to go forward, and she's going to know that I saw her double chin, and she's going to start to spiral mentally. She's going to start to think about what she needs to do to make sure that that doesn't happen again, instead of it being placed in my lap. Even if I'm saying, oh, you know, going forward, I'll help you with that, she's still thinking about it. But if I ask her now and I'm like, hey, what is it that you're insecure about? And she says, oh, my double chin. Then when we're doing something and I'm like, oh girl, we want to do this, she's like, oh, thank you. Not, oh God, she noticed that I have the double chin and all this is going to go in her brain. She will be grateful that I addressed that. Now you can't ask what the insecurity is and then not make sure that you're making her look her best either. So that's really, really important, that if she tells you something, you have to make sure that you address it. So of course, if it is a double chin, all I do is I ask pretty much everyone anyway to stick their chin out like a turtle. And I tell them that they're going to feel weird, but it will look great, right? And then so with this little trick of shifting the weight backwards, that allows me to be like, oh yeah, if you want to go ahead and suck in, like you can do that. I can say that because she told me, yeah, girl, my stomach, I'm really worried about this. So she's just grateful. All right. And so from there, then we're going to get started with the session. And that's before I pick up my camera. They already know, one, I know what I'm doing. I want to make sure that they look great and that they're comfortable. So they're not going to turn the session into, oh, can I go over there and do this? And, oh, I seen this pose over here. Can we do this? They're not going to take over the session in any way, shape, or form, because I'm already in control and they're going to trust me to make sure that they look the best that they can possibly look. All right, so now we're going to go into how we initially start the actual session with the camera now. So I'm gonna have y'all hold each other in the back again. And scoot over to the paper for me. Yep, just like this. All right, so hand in your pocket. Oh, yeah, let's go. All right, look, I'm just going. I didn't even think about it. Because, I mean, they look good over there, but it will look much better with this light. Woo.
You want to do like just...
Yep, that's fine.
Okay. Yay.
Yep, perfect. All right, so this is still during the engagement session, right? So the very first thing that I will do is what I call my parent pleasers. These are the pictures that the parents will want, because they really don't want a picture of them even remotely looking like they're making out, anything overly romantic. They're not going to print that and put that on their desk, but they will print these. So you can actually turn towards them a little bit and put your hand on his chest. Oh, the other hand. So keep holding him. Yep. And then put your hand on his chest in the middle here. Yep, right there. All right. So what I'm gonna have you do is both of you look straight at me and smile. Hold on. We got a couple. Oh, it's not gonna stay down, is it? Did you put something in that?
Mm-hmm.
It's sticking up. All right, I'll figure it out later. Yep. All right, so look here and smile, smile. Not model smile. We're going real smile. There we go. All right, so we got this one. And then now don't move, but Monet, you're going to look at Jerez. Jerez, look at me, smile. Perfect. And now we're going to switch. So you look at her, you look at me and smile. All right, so between these are the parent pleasers. Now, of course, you can do the cropped in and you can do full body as well, especially if you have the zoom lens. You can just zoom right out and get wide. But from here, that one that's on the screen right now, that is a photo that her mom will love. It don't matter how much she loves him. She's looking at this like, but do you see my baby girl? It's right there. Now, his parents want this photo because that's their baby. And the focus of the photo switches automatically depending on who's looking at the camera. So then you also start with them both looking. Between these three, they didn't move at all, but we got three very different photos. If I had done wide and done some horizontal real quick, could have fit those in and had a whole bunch of different options with the parent pleasers. But this is what I start with for engagement sessions. Is also what I start with for weddings. So if we don't have anything else, at least they did look at me and look at each other real quick and we got those done. It doesn't take a lot of time. Now I'm gonna go over what I call LASH. So LASH is my variation for no matter what pose you're already doing, it'll give you some variations within the pose. Because a lot of times people have their poses down, but then they put them in a pose, they take a couple pictures and they're like, and then they go into a whole different pose instead of just doing little micro variations within the pose that they're already in. So the acronym LASH is just like LASH, it's just like eyelashes. Okay, so L is for laugh. Now there are a lot of people who will teach you different prompts and things and have them say different things to each other, ask them questions. I personally don't have time for this, especially not in what we're talking about, because we got to keep going, right? So I'm literally just going to have them look at each other and laugh. That's it. Haha, it's so funny. Ha 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 ha. Yep, so funny. Now, most of the time, that's exactly what I say and how I say it. I just fake laugh. I don't know if they're laughing at me fake laughing, at each other fake laughing, but eventually they real laugh within a couple seconds. So that is something that you can easily do really quickly. Now, you said what? Oh my God, I'm not repeating that. All right, so that's L for laugh. A is almost kiss. So in the beginning, I will typically tell them that if I tell them to kiss, it sounds self-explanatory, but it's not going to be that simple during the session. And that's because if I tell them to kiss, they're going to go straight forward. When they go straight forward, their noses are going to touch and bend in a little bit. And then they're going to pucker their lips to get their lips to the other person. So their faces end up looking like this, which is not flattering on anybody, but people do it all the time. So I don't allow them to do that. And for this couple, I would always have the woman, turn her face towards me so I can see all the makeup, the eyelashes, all the things, and he's gonna go the other way. And it's not like super dramatic, it's just that instead of straight forward, it's bent a little bit. So that way they can get pretty close, they can smile right here, and then they could kiss right after without having to pucker in any way, shape, or form. Their lips will just be able to come together. No, they're not kissing at all. So once again, they just met and are not down for that, but we're gonna try almost kiss. So you're gonna look at each other. Okay, not y'all let go. At least hold each other a little bit. Right in there, okay. Yep, right here. So you're going to tilt your head slightly and get kind of close. Oh yeah, that's good. All right, and then you can smile. It's weird, but it looks beautiful. All right, from there, they could kiss and it would look natural. Nobody's faces would be smushed in any way, shape, or form. That's the almost kiss. All right, and y'all can relax with that. All right, so that's A for almost kiss. And then S is for smile, or what I call slay. So obviously they can smile different ways. They can look at each other. They can smile off and just be like smiling off into the distance, whatever your vibe is, however you have them smiling, you can do that. You can also use S for slay. So it could be where they are, actually take a step away from him. Both of y'all face me this way. Hold hand, just the hand right here. Yep. And then I'm gonna have you, give me a little hip here. Yep. And then place your hand here. And then what I'm gonna have, oh, over here. Not over here, over here. Yep, just right here. All right. And what we're gonna do is I'm gonna have you look into the different directions. Yep. Now, I'm gonna take this picture so I can show you what not to do. So look those ways. Let me do this one. Now, for her eyes are going too far. So you have to pay attention to that because you'll get home and all you'll see is white in the eyes when you have them looking off. So what we're gonna do is make sure that she keeps her eyes level with her chin. So she's moving her face here. She's gonna look straight ahead, just over into this direction. Because a lot of people will look over and then they'll take their eyes further. And we don't want all this white in here.
You got a question in the chat when you're ready.
Yeah, what's up?
So Steve is asking from early this morning too. Poses for couples with extreme height variations, especially when the groom is shorter than the bride. How do I help out the short kings?
The short kings. Okay, step one, the short kings know they are short kings. We always kind of like tiptoe around it, but I always ask them, I'm like, how comfortable are you with the fact that she's much taller than you? Like, do you want me to put you in poses where you look like you're the same height or a little bit taller? So I ask that question because some of them are like, I don't care, I'm fine down here. And then I do exactly what I would normally do because I'm not gonna change anything different and make them feel uncomfortable. Because then it's more like I feel more uncomfortable about him being short than he does. But if he's like, oh no, like you can do whatever, I can look like the same height. All we can do is a lot of sitting poses. And then also if there's any steps where he can be on a step above, then we can do that. And then also if they're walking, I always have him lead her because once again, whatever is closer to the camera is going to be bigger. So he's going to appear a little bit bigger than she is if she's behind him in one of those walking shots, like coming towards the camera. Hopefully that answered all that question. Is there any other ones before I keep going? No? Okay, cool. All right, so now I'm going to have you turn your chin this way and yep, perfect. And you're going to turn your chin that way and look straight with your chin. So it makes a huge difference between this one and that one. Y'all see the difference in her eyes? All right, and that's something only we can pay attention to because she's looking where she was told to. She's not paying any attention to that, so we have got to do it for her. All right, so that is S for slay. They can smile, slay, whatever your thing is, even if they're separated and looking off into the distance, think about S in your variations. And then H is for heads. So they can do a lot of different things with their heads. They can face each other, put their foreheads together. That's what we do. So face each other real quick. All right, put your foreheads together. Close your eyes, breathe in and breathe out. So when you tell them to breathe in, breathe out, that naturally relaxes them. Because that relaxes anybody, right? Oh, see, and then now she started smiling. Y'all see that? You see how they're not connected right now? Where he is all solemn and she's smiling. You're probably laughing at
To
me.
be fair, he's
It's
getting
just my
married.
phone.
I'm just saying, to be fair.
You said what?
He's getting married, so to be fair,
You know what?
it's
Absolutely not. Absolutely not an excuse. He should be happy. It's his fault. He did this. All right. So you can actually, both of you can smile with your head still together. Give him that actual smile, Jerez. There we go. That's cute. All right. And now no smile, so just breathe in and breathe out. All right. So they can do this and you can relax. You don't have to stay in that pose, but they could bring their heads together. You could have one look towards you and smile, and he can bring his head to her, like just leaning on it. She can put her head on his chest. Like there's a lot of different things that you can do with their heads. It's just a matter of you thinking. So once they're in a pose, you think, did I have them laugh yet? Did they almost kiss? Do they smile? Do I want them to like slay and look off into the distance? Or what do I want them to do with their heads while they're already in this pose? So that's LASH. Any questions about that before I keep going? No? Everybody good?
they're asking what lens are you using?
Oh, that was in the beginning. So the lens that I'm using today is my 28 to 105. It's a 2.8 Sigma Art lens, which I'm obsessed with.
And what focal length are you shooting at right now? They're asking.
That's a good question. I think this last one was 42-ish. Yep, 42.7. So I'm just zoomed in a little bit. So somewhere in the middle. All right, he answered all of that.
Got a lot of short guys in this chat, huh? Wow.
Yeah.
They're all like really excited about this right now.
I see. And someone said, I'm 5'10" and she's 6 foot. Okay, first of all, that's only 2 inches different. So, I mean, honestly, she could wear flat shoes for the wedding and you could wear regular shoes and y'all would probably be the same. And then also with that little switch of her weight, she'll be even shorter. So y'all might be right around there, but there's not that much difference. She said, I'm false claiming to be a short king. Is that what he's doing? They're paying him no mind. All right. So
It's getting belligerent.
yeah.
It's all right.
Oh man. All right. So now I'm going to teach you what I call the pose of all poses. So after you do the parent pleasers, especially at a wedding, I'm going to put them in what I call the pose of all poses. It's very, very simple, but it makes it so that you can do a lot of different images in a little bit of time. So I'm gonna have you face each other, wrap your arms around each other. You're gonna bring your arms up here. Now, take a second, we're gonna talk about the bouquet. So this bouquet just kind of comes out this way. But even if it was circular, it is our responsibility to make this look the best that it can look. So if she's holding it straight forward, she's gonna hold it and tilt it towards the camera a bit, especially if it's a circle. That's to make sure that this is what the florist has worked on. So I know a lot of people would do like dips or have them walk, and they'll just like let them do this. Florists call this lightsabering, and they hate it because they worked really hard to make this bouquet. So if it goes like this, it's not showing anything, that all the work that they did. And it's also not gonna help you in this photo. So you wanna make sure that if you have them doing anything even remotely like this, that you put the bouquet in their hands this way so that it is showing towards the camera. They are not gonna think about this. It has to be something that we think about. So in this pose of all poses, I'm going to have her hold this here, right behind. I'm actually gonna have you take your hand and put it on his like elbow down here. Yep, right there is good. Perfect. So the bouquet is gonna be right here on his upper back, and then they're facing each other, and y'all can actually just look straight at each other for a second. Before, ooh, I think you're stepping on it, Boo. There you go. Yep. All right. Before you start, you're going to fluff the train all the way out here. There's not actually much of a train on this one, but and the veil as well. And then this, as simple as this is the pose of all poses. This is the one that you're going to put them in when you find the one place that you're going to take these photos. When you only have 8 to 10 minutes, you don't have time to move them all around the venue. They know that. So you have to say, what is your absolute favorite part of this venue? Like what background is most important to you? And then you'll go there. And so if you want to split this up in half and do some here and they have 2, you can do it, but you got to make a game plan at the beginning. So you know exactly how many to do here, split it up, run over to the next place, do that, and then run inside. But this pose right here, if I, back up. If I took this wide, we're going to pretend that this is their beautiful venue with a fountain behind them and all of the gorgeousness. Oh, I got cut off his head. Oh, because the thing's in front of it. Okay, that's fine. All right, and I can't back up anymore. And the difference between this, some couples will look like this, but you have to make them come a little bit closer. So just for this for a second, I'm gonna have y'all bring your noses closer together and smile right there. Yep. The difference between this one and this one, or I didn't realize your eyes look like that. Jesus. Let me take another one. All right. Back up from each other like you did before. Like bring your faces away from each other. We're showing what not to do. Yep, right there. Just look at each other though. Yep. All right. So maybe I should move this down. Move this down here. All right. The difference between this and this is big. It's a huge difference, and a lot of couples will just do this. It is our job to have them bring it closer. I just say bring your noses close to each other. So if this was the only shot that I did for the day, right? The venue's behind them. This was all I did. Every single vendor is well represented in this photo, except the caterer and the DJ. Because in this photo, we can see the bouquet, we see the venue behind them, we can see his suit, we can see the gown, her hair and makeup, everything is represented. So you want to start here just in case something happens and you run out and have even less time. So we're going to start here, and then it's just a matter of you moving your feet and or your focal length. So if I start wide, I have them stay exactly where you're at. So I'm going to have y'all look at each other, bring your noses close together. From here, without even really moving, I can zoom in and do a different angle here. I can do vertical. I can come to the side a little bit. Let me have you hold that bouquet up a little higher. So you can come from here, and then I'm going to have Monet look this way. Yep, you're going to look down with your eyes. Yep. And I say her eyes because if I tell her to look down, she will take her chin down, which is not what we want. We want her chin to be up, but we want her eyes to be looking down. Because from here, do that. From right here, I'll be able to see all of her makeup by her doing that. So with that, we have the flowers in the foreground, we have her hair and her makeup and a little bit of her gown. And all I did was change slightly and move up. So from here, I could come from a different angle. Jerez, let me have you. So typically I would have him kiss her shoulder. I'm not gonna have him do that, but pretend, get your head closer to your shoulder right here. From right here, I could shoot this, right? And I could shoot, if I did it wider, it would have all of the back of her dress here, the veil, a little bit of the flowers in here, and it would also be beautiful. These are little bitty changes, and you can stand up. You don't have to keep pretending to do that. Little bitty changes without them actually physically moving their feet. So it's just a matter of adjusting their pose so slightly and then moving your feet. Because on top of this, if I could back up more, I would be able to do some like from a little bit lower and do a different angle. I can do from much higher and take this without moving. So once you put them in this pose of all poses, I recommend shooting all around them and changing micro things within their pose. So from here, I can actually I'm gonna tuck that in a little bit. I can even do a little veil swoop. You can stay right where you're at. All right, and just look at each other. So from here, same pose, nobody has moved. I can bring this out, snatch it back, and do a swinging veil. There's so many things you can do without them ever even moving. So to do the 48 and 8 flow, you're always going to start with the pose of all poses, move your feet, and shoot different angles without them moving physically. That's the very first one we're gonna do. And then I also do veil shots. Now, veil shots are always included in the 48 and 8, regardless of whether she has one, because I bring one. I always have a veil in my camera bag. And that's because, to me, I absolutely love veil shots. But even if I didn't, if you are shooting different things and you're not really happy with the venues that you're shooting, say you're shooting at like barns and you're more into chandeliers and you might not want anyone to know where you're at right now, if I do under the veil shot, then no one knows where we are, which is actually what we're gonna do real quick. I'm gonna take this from you. Now, I always recommend not having any flowers in under the veil shots. They end up being more distractions from the whole point is to show like the romantic lovey-dovey part in here. And then also most of the time they end up being a little bit closer to the camera and then making them look small. It just does a little distortion thing. I also always make couples just hold each other around their waist, both of them. So I won't leave her hands here. I'm gonna have you put them around his waist too. So it almost gets to the point where they don't have arms. They don't need them for this, because what happens if I had left her arm here and her hand was here and I went under to do the veil shot, her hand is going to appear bigger than them. And that's not what we want. So I'm going to throw this over y'all and I'm going to be under it as well. Now, when you do the under the veil shots, there you go, sorry. When you do under the veil shots, I don't recommend anything tighter than a 40. So I really recommend 35, 28, 24, anything like that, because you want to have it pretty wide. You want to make sure that there's plenty of veil on both sides, because that's what makes it dreamy. If you have it too tight, it'll just be them with a little bit of the veil on either side. It's not going to make it magical.
They're asking what focal length you go for under the veil.
So I typically go for 35. That would be my go-to. But with this lens, I could easily go to 28 without barely moving. All right, so I'm gonna have y'all look at each other here. I also don't recommend for people to have the auto eye focus on under here and to manually put your focus on her eye. And that's because the camera seems to like bounce around a lot. Oh, it came all the way out, huh? That's fine. Yep, the comb is over there. Just fine. All right, go ahead and just look at each other and smile. Get a little bit closer. What do you smile? Don't hold it in. That's not helpful. There you go. Now, I'm at 28 right now. I'm gonna go to 35. And another thing I want you to make sure of is if she had a strapless dress, it is really important to make sure that you include even just a little tiny bit of her dress here, because it's really easy for them to appear like they're naked. He has a full-blown suit, and then she just has skin out here. It's not what we're going for. All right, so now I'm gonna have y'all try that almost kiss thing. Y'all are pretty close, but come this way, Monet. Okay, looking at each other. Y'all got it. Yep, that's perfect. All right, put your forehead together. Yep, close your eyes, breathe in and breathe out. Smile right where you're at. Yeah, perfect. All right, I'll have you come out of here. Ooh, goodness. All right. You all right?
I'm great.
Okay, good. All right, so that it's pretty easy. You just throw it over them and then make sure of all the different things. No arms, hands out here, that type of thing. And then just have them focusing on each other. They can almost kiss. They can do everything. They can even laugh underneath this veil. So you can literally do lash under here. I'm gonna put this back. All right, so we start with the pose of all poses, move our feet, change the little angles that we're shooting at, then we'll do veil shots right after. From there, I would typically have them hold hands. So I'm gonna have y'all just hold a hand, and then I have them walk towards me. As they walk towards me, I will have them look at me and smile, and then I'll tell them to look at each other and smile. Already two very different pictures. And then, so take a couple steps forward, just like 1, 2, yep, right there. And then what I'm gonna have y'all do is you're gonna lean over and bring your foreheads together. Yep, right there. This is still a very different pose than the other ones where they were holding each other and she had her arms around. This is still very different. So between here, I'd have them walking, looking at me, looking at each other. And then now they stopped and had their own little intimate moment. And then I can have the, his face, he's enjoying it. All right, and then I have them turn around and walk away. So actually I'm gonna have y'all do that. Swoop around this way. Yep. All right, so with them turning around, now when you walk away, I'm gonna have y'all look toward each other, so make sure that I can see the sides of your faces here. So just take a couple steps that way, but look at each other right there. So this is still a very different pose than them coming forward and everything else that we've done. Very little amount of change, but this is gonna make sure I get her whole back of her dress. And then from here, I can even do another little tweak, right? So Monet, I'm gonna have you look towards me. Give me this knee here, yep. And you're gonna look down with your eyes. And then Jerez, go ahead and just put your head up over, like next to her head over there. Yep, right there. So typically I would have him like kiss her on her temple, that type of thing. Get a little bit close, put your head over there. There you go, right there. Yep. So from here, especially if I was able to do it wider, type, vertical, horizontal, I can catch a whole bunch of this completely different than everything else that we've done. From here, I would typically go around them and have them run towards me because running and walking give very different facial expressions. And it's not like literally sprinting, but even just a little jog, they have a different facial expression and their clothes just move a little bit different than the walking and the smiling. So we always start with, oh, and let me make sure that I show you this. When I have them walk away, this is where I will hand them the bouquet backwards. So I'm gonna have you hold it just like that. So that way, when I shoot them this way, face more that way for right now though, I will still be able to see the bouquet. Otherwise, she'll hold it straight down or whatever. Who knows what it'll look like because she's not paying any attention. She's just doing what I told her to do. But I put it here so I can still include the bouquet in as many photos as I possibly can. All right, so now if you run out of time here, we've already got plenty of images. We've got the parent pleasers, we've got the pose of all poses and you moving around. We have under the veil, we have walking toward you, looking at you, looking away, turning that way, walking that way, stopping, doing another one, and then they can go inside. That alone is a lot of images in a little bit of time. Now, if you have extra time, I will teach you a couple poses that I always mix in so that it really adds some pizzazz to the overall gallery. So I'm gonna switch you, turn back around for me. Right here. All right, so the first one I'm gonna teach you, I'll take this, is the twirl. So it's as if she was going to physically twirl around. But I'm not gonna have her do that. She could in this dress because it's not a huge train, but regardless, I tried to avoid actually having them do that because more often than not, they have a lot behind them. So to avoid that, I will hand them a piece of their train. Now, I typically go in the middle of the train here where the seam is. I don't hand them the very end of it. Because if I hand them the end and they're swinging it around, you're more likely to see a tag and the inside of the dress, which is most likely dirty by this point. So you're always gonna hand it about maybe like a foot into it, like just like this. So you're gonna hold just like that. If you want the bouquet to still be in this photo, I always hand it to the groom. So I'm gonna have you hold this with his hand, just like that. And you're gonna take a step away from each other, both, just like that. So you're gonna hold your hands up like this. Oh, not that one, these two. So let go of that situation and you're gonna do like this, as if she was gonna twirl. Yep, just like that. So from here, what you're gonna do is you are gonna keep your arm down, but you're gonna swing the dress out and back in. You're only moving your body slightly. So it's out and in, okay? But I don't want you to stand still and just do this, okay? So you gotta come out and then swing back in. Now, when I do this, I always turn on high-speed continuous. That way I have a lot of options as she's throwing the dress around. It will give me a lot of options. So I'm gonna go ahead, back up and shoot this real quick. Now, when we do this, you can take a little bit of a step away from him. Yep, right there. Now, if his jacket wasn't unbuttoned, it would have definitely come up. So make sure in this pose to pay attention to that. And I just want you two looking at each other and smiling. And you're going to throw that dress around. All right, give me 1 second. I'm going to tell you, go ahead and go. Swing it, girl, swing it. Yep. Yep. All right, you can stop right there. All right. So obviously not all of these are going to be perfect, but as long as we can find one in here, I mean, this is okay. I want to keep going. All right, I want you to throw it there. I'm going to bring it back and throw it back around, okay? Did you lose the spot? Okay, I'm coming. Oh, let go. There we go. All right, hold right there. Oh, wait. It's showing underneath. Yep, right there. All right. I kind of like that. So remember to move your body out and bring it back into. All right. So smile at each other and swing that thing, girl. Swing it. I don't even have it on high speed. I have it on mid speed, but oh, that's good. Oh, I like that. Okay, you can stop. So I personally love this. This shows like the movement of the dress, and I'm sure we have some other options in here. All of this is really pretty. It doesn't take a lot of time. They're standing still. It's just a matter of handing them this and telling them what to do with it. So that will add a little extra to it. Yeah.
Do you say hypothetically, say if you don't have a external flash on hand, that light can substitute for your shots?
So repeat. Okay. So he asked if I don't have like an external flash on hand, if this light is going to replace it, right? So typically, or the hope is that this is natural light. This is outside after. Now, if it's not possible for you to do 48.8 with off-camera flash. It just is, it isn't. Because you have to move it too much unless you have it. If you have an assistant, the light that can do all the things, then yes. But you by yourself, just with the light, it's not gonna happen. You can get close, you can get a lot of different things with the variations, but no. And that's why I didn't even talk about lighting in this, because I already had to go over all of these things. So just having them lit up, we're pretending that the sun is out and it's just so beautiful.
I would say it's beautiful in here personally.
I mean, it is. It is gorgeous. All right, so yeah, so that was the twirl. And then I would just go over the dip real quick for you. So I'm gonna take this for now. You can have this in her arm as she dips and hold it this way if you want to, but it's not necessary. It's completely up to you if it's worth it. So what I'm gonna do is teach you. I don't want you to do it yet. Okay, and typically I will go over this during the engagement session too. So when I say, oh, remember that dip, they'll remember and go right into it. But I'm going to have you're going to stand behind her and you're going to face this direction. Okay, I'm going to bring this back. Make sure that when you do the dip that the train is laid out this way. So what's going to happen is you are going to wrap your arms around her back and around her waist this way. Okay, so yeah, you'll do that. Don't do it yet. So when you do it though, you're going to bend at the waist. This is what's really important. So you're going to bend here, okay? Where people go wrong is they shift their weight all onto this leg here and do it like this. That means everyone's weight is right here on. Instead of being recruited from the back, where if you do it like this, it's gonna recruit all these muscles. So you're going to wrap your arms around her back and around her waist and then dip this way. Now when you do that, you're gonna bring your nose kind of close to hers, okay? Now you are going to hold around his waist. Okay, so turn this way and hold around his waist ahead of time. Yes, a lot of brides will try to do around the neck. That is not going to make them feel secure. They're going to feel like they're falling. So you have to tell them to hold around the waist. Now he's going to hold you, but when you go back, you're going to stick your leg closest to me. You're going to pop it out and you're going to point it. That is an imperative part of this, because if she does this and then her foot is like this, it's going to ruin everything. So she has to point it forward, okay? And so when he bends you back this way, you're going to bring your noses close together, and I'm going to have you just take your hand and lightly just touch his face. That's it. So I'm going to have you go underneath the veil so you don't pull on her. Yep. Oh, I think you're stepping on it. There you go. Yep, just like that. Let's see if we got enough room here. All right, y'all ready to try it out? Make sure you're holding her back and her waist so that she feels secure. You ready? You got it? All right, well, let's show me something then. Jerez, let's do it. All right, now, let's go. Oh my God, you do not have it. You did not do, he did not do what I told him to do. He literally kept his hands together and then threw her backwards.
Do not kill a model in my space.
Right.
All right.
You said you had it. That's why I said, when you're doing this, hold her back and then around her waist so that she will feel like you, yes, like that. And then you're going to use your upper body, bend that way. Okay? And she was right to not feel secure. She was like, oh God, I'm not ready.
You got to get an insurance policy first before we go for that.
Yeah, something. You still, what you doing? Okay, all right, okay. Go ahead, dip back.
Dial 911.
Look at her and bring your nose, stand up. Jerez. This is not what I told him to do. This man tilted like this and lifted up a foot off the ground. He literally is on the way to making sure both of them go this way. Bend your waist. You are, yes, you are. You are definitely showing that. You have to bend your waist and do here.
You're a little teapot.
Oh
Enjoy
my God, you still lifted your foot up, Jerez.
My foot up or what?
Don't.
Oh, I thought you said that. You said that's imperative. Oh, she's doing that.
That's for her.
Alright.
You
I
only,
thought you were talking to me.
nope, your instructions were over after just hold her and bend at the waist. That's it. She got what she's doing, but she don't feel safe enough to even begin to lift up a leg or touch your face.
They're praying in the chat. I just want you to know that. I just want you to know.
Literally. Okay, come on, Jerez. Show me that you got it. Let's go. Bend at the waist and dip her that way. Let's go. Go. Oh, okay, we got it. All right, straighten that leg out for one. Yep. All right, go ahead and stand up. That's good. Okay, yeah, and we're not going to be picky here because I really don't want her to grab the back of his neck, but we ain't got time to worry about that. Yeah, it looks so much better than what we had before.
Get married now. Let's go.
Oh my God.
Oh.
But just the twirl and the dip will just add a little pizzazz to the very end of your photos. But if you just do what we went over with the pose of all poses, veil shots, the walking this way, walking away, alone will get you a lot. And if you have time to add in different things, fantastic. But that is the flow to get 48 poses in 8 minutes. Yeah.
All right.
All right. Are we live?
Yeah.
Woo. That's good. All right. Thank you guys for coming tonight. We are going to be talking tonight about the art of storytelling through one of our favorite things of being in a camera store with our gear, with our lenses. I'm a little bit of a gearhead. Everyone always loves to have that first piece of glass, the next piece of glass, and then you want to buy all of the glass. So I'm going to tell you guys how, once you've invested in those items, to help tell stories for your clients. So then you can buy more lenses because, we can never have enough of those. So today I'm going to be talking again about how the lenses can tell stories. We're going to do a demo. We have a couple here. So we're going to pose them here in the space and tell a little bit of their story using some different lenses. I'm going to give you guys some practical tips as well as answer any questions you guys have. Feel free to throw them in the chat or here. You guys just ask away. So who is Jen Stitt? Well, that's me. I am originally a Maniac. I grew up in the beautiful state of Maine.
You have screens everywhere.
I grew up in the beautiful state of Maine, but I right now live outside of Philadelphia in a beautiful little town called Phoenixville. And when I'm not doing photography, I'm typically snuggling my dogs and doing a lot of travel with my husband. Speaking of my husband, he's also my business partner. We opened Fox and Brazen way back in 2011. And our photo journey is we started with weddings. And over the years, we've transitioned into telling people that we tell people's love stories. So if you love another person, I'm going to tell that story. If you love your family, I'll photograph your family. If you love your job, I'll photograph your headshots. But I really, truly celebrate everything love. I have a BFA in film and animation from RIT, as well as a couple other certifications and degrees from some wonderful organizations around the country and around the world. But mostly, I just really love technology. More importantly, I love telling people stories. So the reason we're here tonight, why do lenses matter? We buy a camera, it comes with a kit lens, and then we don't know where to go from there. Different lenses are almost like, they're like a paintbrush for an artist, or it's the clay or the ingredients that we use when we're cooking. Different lenses are gonna add a different amount of spice and salt and pepper or different things to taste in your images. They give us a different perspective, depth, they can add emotion depending on everything. We can choose to include things in a scene or exclude things in a scene based on our lens choice. We're also gonna give some mood and style with what we have on our camera bodies. Love this photo. This is one of my couples, and they wanted to have this moment. They got married at an aquarium. Obviously, this is Adventure Aquarium in Camden, New Jersey. And they wanted to have their personalities come through by being scared of all the sharks and everything like that. And this has been on my website, and we photograph a ton of different weddings at Adventure Aquarium. But every single time we go there doesn't necessarily mean we can capture the same exact thing with the same couples because their stories are different. So this was photographed with the 11 to 24, the Canon 11 to 24, it's an EF lens. This one here, same spot, slightly different lens. This is the 10 to 20 millimeter. And when I travel and go to weddings and photograph people's stories, these are some of the lenses that I use. It's not uncommon for me to have like 10 lenses with me at a wedding. Thanks, Seth. I love to be able to change a perspective or change something just a little bit. So here's another couple getting married in the same exact spot. The shark tunnel is super famous for the aquarium there. And I put that lens on my camera and I got this, which is nowhere near as fun as exciting as like, say, this one or this one, right? So, okay, they booked me because I tell stories and they're at the aquarium and they look bored AF, right? So if I sit them down and I change my perspective and maybe change my lens just a little bit, we can get something a little bit different. So instead of forcing my couple to do a pose that I've done before or try to get them to emote, we just change things up a little bit and get this. And without even moving them, except for one of these shots here, there's 4 more with 4 different lenses right there. You gotta love a little bit of a reflection. Kind of love that shark that's swimming by. But I think the thing that fascinates me the most is she shared on her Instagram that this was one of their favorite photos from their wedding day. That one right there, right? That was a test shot. I'm testing my lighting to make sure I'm not getting any reflections. But in that exact moment, I happened to capture what she described as something that perfectly fit the 2 of them and their personalities. In that moment, there was nobody else around them. They weren't super photo oriented and they were just excited to get to the party. This was the moments right before they popped off to the reception to do the party. I think he wanted some bacon wrapped scallops. Maybe some sushi, I don't know. At the aquarium, they put the sushi right in front of the shark tank. Anyways. So when we're changing our lenses, we're gonna be working with the environment, right? We wanna establish the environment and we wanna set the stage to tell the story that we want to tell, right? We are the artists, we're in control of everything. We're writing their story, we're capturing all these details that they are gonna use to tell their history to everybody. So while we're capturing that, we wanna capture the setting that they're in. Sometimes as photographers, we're like, oh, the settings of the camera. No. We're capturing the environment, the location, where the scene unfolds. When you guys are watching a movie, the first scene in the movie, the first shot is a camera panning in over a city, or it's a wide shot of a building. It's something to establish where we are. It helps ground us in our storytelling. Also, with our lens choices, we can focus on the emotion. We know that setting our cameras to, say, 1.2 f-stop, we can focus right in on whatever is in focus in that scene, as opposed to shooting at, say, f20, where everything is in focus. We, as the storyteller, get to make that decision on how to narrow all that stuff down. And lastly, we can also use our lenses to add a bit of drama to the scene. And while my drama didn't work with that last couple I showed you, they're standing there a little bit like, oh, we're in a shark tunnel. The first one I showed you of the couple lunging at the scene there, being scared of the sharks and running away, added the drama necessary to the scene. We can also use things like compression on a lens. We can use a telephoto lens and zoom all the way in and run really far away, and that scene just looks magical and majestic out in front of us. But we as the artist are making that decision just by swapping what's on our camera bodies. So in my dream world, I would have all these lenses with me all the time. This would be my bag. But I narrowed it down today because we only have an hour. So I want you guys to meet some of my friends. These are models. They're going to be my new friends, but I'm actually going to just move you that. Yeah, okay. So I give all my lenses just a little bit of personality. Okay, so I've named this one. This is Gary Jr. All right. But that stems from we had an intern who worked for us for a couple of years who couldn't remember numbers, but if I named them, she could remember what lens to go get me. I love this lens. So typically when we're talking about something to establish a scene, we're going to shoot with something like a 35 millimeter or a 24 millimeter, something wide. I love this one. This is the one you guys saw from the Shark Tank. This is a 10 to 20. Okay, so I'm going to use this to add a little bit of drama if someone's coming at me and everything like that, or again, setting a scene. I also have, sorry, gorgeous, sorry. Another great one here is the 28 to 70. The f-stop on this one goes down to 2.0. So it's almost like having a prime lens with having the versatility of being able to zoom in and zoom out on a scene. So I really love that it is a workhorse lens because it has the ability to, again, go from 28 to 70, so you can get that super wide shot. You can zoom in and get something closer, but you can also be at that 2.8, which is very dreamy and wonderful. I also say, oh my gosh, this lens is really heavy. It weighs over 3 pounds. This is like a Big Bertha kind of lens here. At the end of the day, that one is heavy, but is wonderful. Ooh, don't see the scratch on it, okay? Mm-hmm. The 50 millimeter, which is the one I have on my camera right now, like to refer to her as the nifty 50. This is going to be so close to kind of what the human eye sees. So this one is always absolutely wonderful for storytelling because it is how we typically see the world as humans. I also am madly in love with this lens because it goes down to 1.2. So any distractions in the background, anything that's distracting from the story I want to tell, I can typically make it just blur out and go away in the background there. Sorry. I feel like I need a display case like up here. You said it would block everything. Anyway, so 100 millimeter macro is your detail specialist. This is awesome for things like engagements, weddings, and everything like that. This is going to allow us to focus in on those minute B-roll type of details that add to that story. So during an engagement session, this one typically hangs out in my bag. It doesn't get a lot of use until I go to photograph the ring. The ring for anybody's engagement story is a major start of a new chapter. So to make sure that we capture that and capture it in explicit detail is a wonderful thing to have. And then lastly, I have my 70 to 200 which is kind of a workhorse lens. This one helps me create a lot of drama when I'm in a lot of different scenarios because I can zoom in, zoom out, and I can also use this lens almost as a fly on the wall. So if I have my couple doing something off in the distance, I can zoom really far in, like I'm not even there. And when you meet your couples for the first time, or you're new to photography, or you're a new relationship with people, sometimes having a camera in their face can be a little bit intimidating or a little bit scary. That's some bass out there. You guys can't hear it on the live stream. A car drove by and was definitely setting the mood in here. But with this, it allows me to zoom in super close, and it allows me to change my frame very quickly because, again, it's a zoom lens and not a prime. This couple, for example, here, they wanted to tell the story of their relationship. A big part of their relationship is driving a Jeep and their dog Otis. So we parked their Jeep in one spot. I brought all the lenses with me and we posed them around the Jeep and moving all around in one little circle there. Their story is about their adventures together, their Jeep hobby, and how badly they want to spoil Otis. So that was the vibes that I wanted to capture. Which leads me back to storytelling. In order to win against the AI robots, we actually need to connect with our clients and tell their story, human to human. So we're going to set the scene with our gear and listen to their why, right? I start every session by asking my clients, why are we here? Okay, part of that reason why, like, I know I'm here because they paid me, right? Like, we know that part of the story.
What, we're paying you? What?
No, not you, my clients.
Did this happen?
Yeah, right? Their main reason is typically like, oh, we want amazing photos, and that's why we hired a professional. But I always ask this because they'll tell me some kind of useful information to give me a direction to go with everything. You can also see on my slides, I said emotion beats perfection, okay? I want you guys to take that mantra and take it forward with you in your photography. We can all agree that if a couple asks us to do their engagement photos in this space right here, it wouldn't be perfection as a photographer, right? We have all the gear, we have all the pieces and all the tools, but to tell their story in this space here may be a little bit of a challenge. We like easy things. We like beautiful manicured parks with winding paths. Why are you looking at me like that, Seth?
I think this is a fine space personally. I think we did a great job building it out personally. I think, you know.
We have all the tools here necessary to tell their story. You are the artist.
You're the one trashing my space. I don't know.
I didn't trash your space, man. I'm just saying, if an engagement couple hired you, can anyone in the audience here raise their hand and say, yes, they want to photograph an engagement session here? We got two, guys, we got two, all right? And one was a sarcastic part of that too. I'm just saying, just throwing that out there. I just want to say, if you can capture the emotion in an image, that image will be perfect to your clients. It doesn't matter where you've captured it, okay? So using our lenses today, we're gonna get a little creative. That's where I was going with that. Thank you, Seth. So I'd like to introduce you guys to our beautiful models today. Whenever I arrive at a session, I never have my camera in my hands, okay? It's always in my bag, it's always away. And the first thing I do is I go up to my clients and I'm like, hey guys, why are we here?
Well, you know, my husband Lucas and I, we met here at the Adorama store 3 years ago. And, you know, he was playing a potato. I was playing some sour ketchup. And it was a match, you know, so yeah.
So their story is that they are both professional models, okay? It was love at first sight when they met here at Adorama, okay? Their lives changed being in the demo space here, all right? So to capture things that are like chairs in the background or the gear that's here or a backdrop and lights, they're professional models. That's part of their story, okay? If we're photographing a couple in, say, a bookstore, part of their story would be they met at a bookstore, they love to read, they love all that stuff. So we're gonna use that to our advantage here. Part of that is we're gonna get a little creative with what we're showing today. We're gonna use different lenses to tell that. We're gonna use a frame within a frame. We're gonna use lighting tricks. We're gonna use reflections. But mostly today, when I'm shooting, I typically shoot in shutter priority. I'm monitoring all the settings on my camera, knowing that I need to adjust for the type of lighting that we have. Today, we're gonna be using constant lighting. We're not gonna really worry about getting super creative. We just wanna make sure we're well exposed with some nice even lighting today. We're gonna make sure that depending on the lens we're using, a good rule of thumb is that you wanna use a shutter speed at least as fast as the reciprocal of your lens focal length. Okay. So again, we have all this beautiful technology. It's a little bit of an old rule and everything like that, but it typically just means when I put the 70 to 200 on my camera, I want to make sure my shutter speed is at least 1/200. I also know I have pretty shaky hands, so I always try to go 1/250 or something along those lines. If I have the 50 on, the minimum I'd want to go is 1/50. Okay, 150, 150. I'm going to then set my ISO kind of based on the lighting that we have. Again, with all this amazing technology that we have, there's no problem shooting at like 1600, 3200, 6400 ISO because we have the technology to kind of fix that in post. It is a dark space. Totally cool. Once we pop this light on, it's going to be pretty bright. What, Seth?
Some people happen to appreciate space. I'm just saying that there's.
Seth, I love this space. Yeah, right?
He wants to take it doesn't come with emotions.
All
Emotions are
All right. Not even.
right, guys. So let's get down with it.
I'm gonna kill some light.
All right, Seth is getting the lighting all squared away in here. My next step is I will put my camera together. I put my camera together here. I'm gonna start with the 50 because again, it's not a huge space. I would typically probably start with the 70 to 200, but I can't get far enough back to get the initial shot I want. So I'm gonna start safe. My 50 is my safe lens. All right, guys, we are ready to get started. I love that you guys met here. This is absolutely amazing. How's all the wedding planning going?
Oh,
She's handling it. I just kind of.
I'm going as ketchup. He's potato. It's
So
potato
they're-
ketchup.
They're telling me they're divulging little things. They're kind of quirky. Like they're bringing back in their first session that they photographed together, which was potatoes and one was ketchup and one was something. So I'm taking all of that in while I'm talking to them. I'm gonna have you guys stand right here. And one thing about telling your clients stories, if you forget their name, how many people go to a session and forget their clients' names right away? Yeah, me? Is it literally only me? Okay, that's fine. That's fine. I will be, yeah. So I will definitely start the session because again, at some point, these people have only been names on a contract or names on an inquiry. Guys, my name is Jennifer, but I go by Jen. How would you guys like to be addressed?
Marissa.
Marissa
And Luke.
and Luke. Awesome. So if I've forgotten my clients' names already, the first thing I did was ask them how they would like to be addressed. Now, Luke sometimes is a Lucas, but he prefers to be addressed by Luke. So now that I know their names and how they like to be talked to, we can really get down to it. So Marissa, I'm going to have you kind of step up here just a little bit. Luke, I'm going to have you step up a little bit more. Marissa, can you turn towards him and give me a nice little leg pop there? And you guys are going to hold hands right there in the middle.
They're asking what kind of cake did you decide on?
Potato, obviously.
What is with potatoes today, Marissa?
You know?
Potato cake.
All right, and since I'm going to start shooting here, I'm going to pop over to Lightroom and we'll make that kind of full screen there. Perfect. Make sure everything is actually functioning. Cool. So because we're starting on kind of a plain backdrop here, we're going to be photographing into this beautiful gray right here, where they are the stars of the show, right? There's no distractions. There's nothing else there. So I'm going to hold my camera up here and see where we're working with. Right now, I'm at ISO 400, which seems a little bit low because it was telling me I was at 2.0. And because there's really nothing in the background that I want to not tell about, I'm going to go a little bit higher to make sure both of them are completely in focus, especially since it's the first shot there. All right, guys. Let's start by snapping a couple here. I'm going to have you guys look right at each other. And then Marissa, this hand that you have down here, I'm just going to have you bring it up on your waist, or you can bring it up on your collarbone or anything like that. Perfect. Perfect. And they are giving us lots of gold there. So because they are professional models, they're doing half my job for me, which I absolutely love because it lets me be a little bit lazy. But if they were super awkward in front of the camera, I would be prompting them and trying to make them laugh just a little bit to get some of these emotions here because they enjoy being with each other. Thanks, Seth. What would you like me to put it on? All right, so I am shooting raw, so I could fix it in post, but it's better to fix some of these things up front as well. All right, so the 50 is kind of not telling a lot of their story. We're focused in on the couple. It's a plain gray backdrop. They could probably use this for like a save the date or something like that. We haven't actually established anything. We haven't established where they met. We haven't established anything at all besides the fact that they like each other and they're willing to hold hands. So we're going to work on changing a lens here, and I'm hoping I don't lose sync. So we're going to go with this big old workhorse here, that 28 to 70. So we can get a little bit wider on our scene here. So at 28, when I step back, I can now get their full bodies in here, which is wonderful because her shoes and his shoes are super cute. They got dressed up for me, but for you guys and for everybody. But it's very clear that the two of them have great taste in footwear, which is hard to see maybe from the camera angle. I'm not really sure. One of them has red shoes, one of them has blue shoes. So now that I've stepped back and I'm not limited to that 50 millimeter, which the 50 millimeter cut our view off right here. Now I'm thinking a little bit differently in the whole scene. I'm like, man, they're kind of fashiony. This is fun. So I'm going to step back. I'm still going to use the same pose. Marissa, give me a nice little pop, maybe hand. Yep, amazing. And I'll unlock it there so I can get in a little bit. And guys, look right here at me. Awesome. So we're now getting a little bit more of that establishing there where we've established their entire outfits. They're very fashiony, right? They're models. This is a very safe pose. So I may ask them, hey guys, if you were going to stand there and you were going to give like a little bit of, I don't know, maybe your spouse didn't do the dishes, right? And you were going to like, give me a little bit extra there. And see, now we're having a little bit of fun, right? She's giving more emotions. We can now zoom in with this 28 to 70 because her full body, you guys can pause. Let me go back. Let me go back here. So we got her with her back turned to him. A little bit more attitude. She's fun. She's flirty, right? She's given me a lot of attitude there. I'm like, man, it would be pretty cool if I could zoom right in and get some of those. Real life couple, they've now looked at each other. They're giving us something super fun, which is a peek into their relationship, right? And I'd probably keep going until they busted up laughing. But I know they're going to bust up laughing at some other point here because they are, again, super fun. I love the 28 to 70 because, again, I can zoom in, I can zoom out, and I can get a little bit of everything that was going on. I gave them the freedom to move around and actually do something. So I gave myself the freedom with my lens choice to be able to capture all of that. We still haven't established the scene, though, right? We haven't established anything here yet. So let's see. If I wanted to, I could use the 28 to stand all the way back here. This isn't too bad here. All right, we could work with this. You guys are all good with being on camera, right? We're live, right? You guys know we're live?
By the
All you
tiny
guys are back
sign
there?
on that wall that says you have agreed to be part of a live stream that you probably read on your way in, you're okay.
Okay, then we're good. I'm glad we're okay here. But that being said, is you guys are all strangers to these people here. So they may not want you as part of their story, right? So again, I have the 28 to 70 on. It goes down to 2.0. So I'm going to make sure that when I'm focused in this direction here, that you guys are all at that 2.0, so your faces are slightly blurry, because you're not adding to their story. So I'm going to bring my beautiful couple right here. I'm going to have you guys stand right here on that glitter, piece of glitter. I'm going to have you guys go belly button to belly button. Okay? I'm going to have you guys swap sides. And I use weird instructions like stand belly button to belly button because there's literally no other way that two humans can stand if I need them facing each other, right? How many times have you talked to like someone and I need you guys to face each other and you're like, no, I need you to like put your can you like put your bodies together and just do what I need, right? If you go say belly button to belly button, there's literally no other way that you can go. So if you guys can go together right there, belly button to belly button, I'm gonna have you guys wrap each other up. And if you guys can just rest your foreheads against each other and close your eyes because you're kind of cross-eyed close there. Okay, so I'm doing, you guys can relax for a second. So I am literally pointing and showing them on my body exactly what I want to do. They posed perfectly without me even having to go over and touch them, right? I'm using a lot of my words, and this is how I work with my couples. So if you guys can go back and do that one more time for me. All right. So I'm adjusting my settings in my camera to make sure I'm at that 2.0, so you guys back there are not at all in my shot.
I don't think Quinn approves of their marriage.
Right? She's very judgy over there.
She is judgy.
Right?
I deal with her every Monday.
Yeah. So I've gone ahead and I'm showing the space that they're in.
She's so pissed off.
Don't worry, Quinn, we're going to get to you in a minute. I had you come out for a minute here, okay? Girl.
2025, they could be a throuple.
They could be. They could be. So I'm using in this particular space, which we were a little like, oh my gosh, I can't believe we're here and we have to do this thing. You guys are all in that beautiful blue color back there. But we're using the color of this light to make sure it's capturing our models. We're using that 2.0 setting to isolate them from all the busyness and everything that's going on behind you. Okay? But it's still not enough. I love their shoes. I love like my laptop here. I love like the light. I love everything, but I can't get it all with that. I told you I was going to trip at some point. Oh, Velcro. All right, so that being said, is I want to go wider, which is where that beautiful 10 to 20 is going to come in. So if I pop that guy off there, again, we're going to see how much we can establish this scene. So I was shooting at 2.0 before. This lens only goes to 4, so I'm going to have to make some adjustments. So I'm going to have to slow down my shutter speed a little bit. And I may have to bump up my ISO just a hair there. All right, so again, professional models, so camera gear in the shot for this particular thing is gonna totally be okay. If I step back here, I'm gonna have you guys do that pose one more time for me. And then Lucas, can you just give her a kiss right on the forehead there for me? Perfect. You guys can relax. Would you guys agree that this establishes the scene that we're in? Yes, thank you. Yes, I would say that this establishes that we are in New York City, we're at Adorama. They have modeled in front of a wide variety of people in the background, and they are existing in their own moment in this scene. Right? If your clients met here, and this was the story that you were telling, you have established a really cool story for them. We can also change up the pose a little bit. So again, we have this really cool symmetry here where we have, I don't know if there's a wide enough shot, but I can show it on my camera here. We have some beautiful nan lights here lighting our scene here, which creates a frame. You can add more blue light. Let's go. And just with a touch of a button, we're getting more, even more back there. I love it. So Lucas, what I'm going to have you do is there's that apple box there. I don't want you to put your full weight on it because you'll fly all my lenses off of it. But I would love for like this kind of like, you're almost like you were leaning, waiting for like a bus or something. Come back this way just a little bit. Yeah, right there is good. And again, with that 10 to 20, I can be pretty close to them and still get full body, right? Marissa, what I want is this very like, yeah, he's mine.
Oh, man.
Yeah. And give me something kind of fun with your legs too, like relaxed, like
Cross.
like I'm gonna beat you up if you come to, yeah, there we go. All right, so what I'm seeing now is I have a frame that's framing them, the store behind them, right? Gave him a little bit cooler pose. Again, he's a model. We're showing off his clothes. We're showing off that she's like, this is my guy right here. If she was wearing her engagement ring, which she's forgotten at home today, it's totally fine, whatever. We have her hand up on her left hand up on her hip, which would be very prominent in showing off that ring. If they swapped sides, which we're not going to do, but if we were swapped on the other side, her other hand is draped over his shoulder there, which again would be showing off that ring, which is part of their story there. I'm going to have you guys look right at each other. Go this way here. And I'm going to have you guys lean towards each other and give each other like a polite chuckle, like, ha, 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 ha. Perfect. You guys can relax. So again, I could probably retake that and adjust my exposure compensation a little bit because I am shooting shutter priority. It's seeing those lights up there and making a little bit of an adjustment, but there they are. There's the store in the background, and we've told that story there. Another thing we can do is, again, without moving them too much from here, we can pop that 50mm back on. And again, you guys are a little bit of a distraction in the background, so nothing personal. So we do have, like in our bags of tricks and everything like that, we have our lenses and we have things that we can modify our lenses, right? We all know that we can put filters on our cameras and everything like that to make some changes here. So in my little filter pouch, I got this guy right here, which we're gonna have some fun with.
Whoa.
Thank you. Good thing he didn't put any fingerprints on it.
You're welcome.
Yeah, we're rubbing them hands.
You mean bless it? Is that
Yeah,
what
but I would never wash it again, Seth. I'm gonna have you guys go back to that first pose that we did. You went belly button to belly button and you had your arms wrapped around each other right there. Have you guys rest your foreheads against each other. So with this particular filter, we wanna make sure that, again, they are nice and close together. There's a lot going on in the scene here. So I'm gonna adjust my shutter speed to go down to, 1.6. That sounds like some fun. 1.8. Awesome. You guys can relax. So with one shot back there, did I lose my mic? No, there it is. So with one shot back there, we've now added a little bit of fun, romantic personality to the scene there, where they now feel like they exist in a world of just the two of them. And when they saw each other on set for the first time, and it was love at first sight, because I say so.
Yeah.
It was.
It was potato. I mean, it was potato at first sight, actually. But it was love at first sight for them. This is going to inspire an emotion. They're both sitting up here, and to be honest, they're not a real life couple. And they're saying, oh, wow, that's like really cool. That's like really amazing. Can you imagine if they were a real life couple and we've now created a world that they just exist in, the two of them? What is the filter? That is a really great question. It's called a subtle halo filter. I wish I could tell you the company, but I bought it from at a trade show from a table that was behind another table behind another table. It was like a dark alley purchase at a trade show. It is literally 4 X's on here.
What? Oh my gosh, she's not lying.
I'm not lying. I'm not lying. But it is a subtle halo filter. They make a couple different versions of this. If you Google it, you can find different versions. Or maybe Adorama has a great hookup and great connection to Seth is literally Googling it. It says 4 X's on it. So subtle halo.
For like $10 or less.
Yeah.
And it really likes round stuff.
So sometimes it works really well. Sometimes it doesn't work at all. In this case, because we have so much going on behind them with lights that are coming directly at my camera, the color blue behind them, and they're being lit by something else, it works really, really well. So you always have to have tricks up your sleeve that you can impress your clients and create something for them. And yet you could show that to them right off the back of the camera. That's not an AI trick. That's me telling their moment and their story by simply adding something to a lens or changing a lens or taking in the scene for them. Awesome. So we'll put that away so Seth doesn't sticky finger it. And I have my 50mm back on my camera, which again is one of my most favorite lenses to shoot with because it allows me to just, what I see with my eye is what it is. So we're actually going to transition back over here to this gray backdrop. And then I so kindly asked Seth if I could borrow Quinn.
I don't own her. I asked if she would want to participate.
Can I move Quinn out, or would you like to move her for me? Okay, so I'm gonna move Quinn out. So essentially, because again, professional models and everything like that, I want to get some of their personality out. And I was here before they were, and I saw Quinn awkwardly staring at me in the corner. So I said, okay, I just want to make sure that, dude, I feel like you're gonna have to do this.
Don't. Where do you want?
I would like her right in between my couple here. So she's gonna go right here.
No, it doesn't treat me.
Yeah. So I thought it would be fun because again, our clients in this scenario are professional models, and she's a mannequin, so she is a model per se. And one of the shots that I like to do with my couples, just to see how their personalities and how they vibe and everything like that. Let me make sure I can actually get all this in the frame. I 90% of the time do this with my 50mm. Oh yeah, this is gonna work. Yeah. I thought it would be fun. So I typically will find a blank spot at wherever I'm doing a session, and I'll put my couple in front of the blank wall, and I'll say, I'm gonna count, I want you guys to change your poses up in between, right? But I was like, well, they're professional models, so they're gonna be like amazing. So how do I trick them up a little bit? I'm like, well, what if I add another model into the scene here? And if you guys already noticed, they are already hanging all over Quinn, even though I didn't even give them permission to do so.
We noticed you from across the bar. We thought you were attractive.
So they didn't even hesitate. They knew like almost where I was going with this. So I'm gonna bump up my ISO just a little bit to get a little more in focus, because my couple looks like they have some personality. And if I tell them to maybe not go crazy on Quinn because they know Seth and Seth will come for them, he knows where they live and like all these things. So I'm gonna say, hey guys, just be a little gentle with her. She comes apart at the middle and apparently she has a leg that might fall off. So that being said, I would like you guys
She's just versatile, okay? She has range, maybe. Think of it that way.
every time I count, I'd like you guys to kind of change up your pose just a little bit, but I'd like you to channel a little bit of your modelly-ness. You guys have modeled with some pretty terrible people before, I assume, so you're gonna have to do the majority of the work with Quinn. She's got one look and one pose, okay? So it might be one of these things you might peek around her and look at each other. You're gonna be like some serious, some giggles, and like all those things. And spoiler alert, I'm gonna make them do this twice, okay? I'm gonna do it with the 50mm first, but I know they're gonna start to get a little more crazy, and I'm gonna wanna do something with a wider lens. Or I could be smart and say, well, maybe I don't want them to do it twice because I'll lose some of that emotion, and maybe I'll just change my lens to start. Because again, this 3.5-pound beast here, she gains weight every time I pick her up, I swear. She's like the lens that you take like your restaurant recommendations from. Like, you know, if this lens tells you where to go eat, it's gonna be some good eating, right? She's a beast, but I I can now go out to that 28 if they start being super quirky and doing some full body poses, and I can whip pan in and get that 70 as well. Okay, it's a little beyond that 50 that I was with before. But again, if they like decide to share a kiss behind the model, I could get their bums sticking out and like their heads hidden back there. Who knows what they're doing back there, right? The other thing I'm doing is, again, they're professional models. They're going to have some poses and ideas to do, but I've just set a whole list of things that if your couple is not comfortable in front of the camera, they're going to start picking up on the cues that I want them to be a little weird with each other, right? So we'll step back here, make sure my settings are correct. This is great. All right, guys. I'm going to count when I get to 3. I just want you to change up your pose. You can look at me, you can look at each other, you can look at beautiful Quinn there. And ready, 1, 2, 3. And 1, 2, 3. And 1, 2, 3. Okay, all right, guys. And we're gonna do one last one here. I want you guys to, again, they didn't do something super cute with each other because I got super excited about the model. I'm gonna have you guys just share, I'm gonna have you guys share a kiss behind the model there. Awesome. And maybe a fist pump. Awesome, you guys can relax. We're loosening them up, we're having some fun, we're telling some stories. Did we get anything super fun here? I don't even know. Was this what you were expecting me to do with your poor Quinn?
I'm just waiting for her to blink to tell me she's okay. 'Cause
I think it's gonna be a while, man. Yeah.
she's gonna be traumatized for a bit.
So do we feel like we got the shot, right? We can now look through the back of our camera. We can look through things. I mean, we could keep going with this. We probably don't need to. You guys kind of get the point here. We're looking at things that exist within the space. We're looking at something that's super quirky and super specific to our couple and everything like that. How are we doing on time? Hey, does anybody have any questions?
Are you using a full frame camera?
Question was, am I using a full frame camera? Yes, I'm using a full frame camera. Today I'm shooting with the Canon R3.
It behooves me to ask, if all the lenses are more or less as fast as each other, f2s, f4s, and more or less, why would you, do you consider prime lenses to be that much superior at this day and time to zoom lenses? So therefore you really do need a whole slew of lenses?
So
Just doing a full zoom.
Yeah, so his question is, are prime lenses just way more superior? Do you really need to have the 18 lenses that I own? So I like to view them as elements that help me tell a story. It is, again, not uncommon for me to be at a wedding or an event and shoot with 5 to sometimes 12 different lenses because they each do something slightly different. The way a 200 millimeter 2.0 lens captures the bokeh and captures the compression is different than the way the 70 to 200 does, right? That's at 2.8. But the 70 to 200, when my couple is skipping through a field and coming at me or doing something with beautiful Quinn here, gives me the option to be able to zoom in and zoom out. So I think it really just depends on what kind of stories do you want to tell. I find uses for all these brushes and all of these things in my different stories. I've only shot with 3 out of the 5 lenses today. I haven't even bothered putting the 70 to 200 or the 100 on yet. Cool. Question in the back?
You told in the beginning that emotion on a shot.
Yeah, so his question is what are some of the technical specs that allow you to draw emotions using your different lenses and everything like that? Yeah. So going back to this particular shot here, this is shot at 1.2, so nothing else, 1.2-ish. I don't remember if it was like 1.2, 2.0, something like that. I chose as the artist to do that to make sure that you couldn't read any of the signs in the background or read anything or get distracted by any other elements that weren't like streaks in the frame. It allows you to bring your focus in on this calm moment that these two are having in the middle of a busy area. So
the rest is kind of framing, right?
Some of it's going to be framing. So the 50, So I chose the 50 because I knew I had a filter that fits the 50. Okay? So choice, my lens choice there. I can't put that on this lens here. I could buy another one. Maybe I will. Maybe I'll leave today and find a dark alley to go down and find another XXXXX filter. I don't know. But, I mean, it's New York, right?
Also in a camera store, but okay.
But it's not going to be as cool as the one that has no brand name on it, right?
Trench coat, it's not cool.
Exactly. I mean, let's be real here. So other things that, again, we talked about how different lenses can do things, right? So I haven't shot yet with the 100mm macro, which I called kind of my B-roll lens. This is going to add elements to our story, which assists in telling the main story. If I just deliver an album with macro shots of her engagement ring, it doesn't really tell their story. The jeweler would be really excited, right? The jeweler would be very, very happy. But as a couple together, they're like, well, yeah, no, he spent a lot of money on that ring, but, you know, it doesn't really tell us anything about us. So we can now tell that part of the story by putting this on, and we can take a macro shot. I'd ask you for your ring, but, you know. If you draw one on, it's okay. I will use my own ring for demo purposes, and we can just pretend it's yours. All right, so we'll pop the macro on here. And if you don't know what macro lenses do, macro lenses essentially allow us to focus in super close on very specific elements. Were there any questions in the chat while I get this set up? Again, I could just photograph the ring. And they'd be very happy because, again, he probably shelled out a couple dollars here or there to buy that ring. $2 whole. But what I love to do is bring in, and I will take one of just the ring itself, but I also like to incorporate things which are part of the couple's personality. And I wish I had potatoes with me, but I don't, because that would have been like the icing on the cake there. So in my normal camera bag, I have a whole host of different things. I'm now really hoping that I charged this before I left the house. No, you don't have to. So I have a little nan light here, which is only like 12 inches big, which is perfect for macro and ring shots. I have it on this little stand, which will probably fall over, so that's totally fine. I may have the couple hold it or anything like that. Oh, good. It says I have 0.9 hours left. I love that it has settings on here that allow you to see how much time you actually have left to shoot things. All right, so what we are going to do is, again, this is probably going to fall over, so I will just find something to rest it up here. I'm going to use an apple box because why not? And let's actually, Seth, can you? No, I'm just going to slide that to the middle. We'll slide it out. So if I was actually at an engagement session at this point, while I have her ring, I'm typically asking them, do you guys have any questions for me? How's the wedding planning going? How are all the different things? That way they're not noticing me fumble with all the things as I'm getting set up. But I'm also making great use of the time that once the session's over, they don't feel like they have to stay to ask me questions and I can go. So again, perhaps before we got there, I asked them about their hobbies or asked them about things, and I might have something in my possession which would be really cool. We may use an environmental thing, like we might use like this Adorama sticker here because they met at Adorama, okay? And let's see, maybe they have a pet duck. Anyone, I don't know, ever watch Friends and there was Joey and his duck? Or maybe they like to just have their ducks in a row or something like that. So I have these little ducks here, okay? A lot of those. And then I have little things like these clips in case the ring is like, we've seen some pretty honkin' diamonds lately where they tip over. So I have some other little tiny things in my kit and everything like that if I need some assistance to prop that ring up. So I have 4 hands. Oh. Thank you. All right, so typically when I'm doing a photo of an engagement ring, I might do a focus stack shot with my camera, but we may not do that today. So again, we got our ducks in a row here. And we're gonna crouch down so we can be on level with everything that's going on. All right. You can't quite see that sticker there, but hey, we'll go with it. So as we get in here, before Seth yells at me, I know that I have my light set closer to 4200 Kelvin. Because again, those NAND lights, you can adjust the color temperature. So I'm gonna adjust it in here so it looks better when it pops up on screen. And again, I'm getting in here, I'm probably, I don't know, like 8 inches away from this ring here. Okay. So part of their story is that he bought this engagement ring. They want to get their ducks in a row. We're at Adorama and everything like that. This is not the main part of their story, right? This is when you're watching the movie and we cut away to different things, and it's an element that helps assist with understanding where the story's going. So I could sit here and play around with this. I can like turn the ring up. We could get rid of some of those ducks in the background there. Let's see. Hopefully no one sees my hands shaking. We'll try that right there. So again, we're going to come in here. And the thing with a macro is you want to make sure that you have a ton of things in focus. So I'm going to bump up my ISO a little bit, make sure we're shooting at a super high f-stop. And again, since I'm resting right down on this Apple box here, I can slow my shutter speed down too. So you guys kind of get the point there. The other great thing about this lens is it can be used for a portrait lens. So I'm going to have Lucas, if you can turn, we're actually kind of done with Quinn. We'll just move over this way. It's totally fine. Leave her alone. Don't touch her. No, don't touch her. Don't touch. Lucas, I'm actually going to have you turn and put your back to me.
Okay.
And then what I'm going to have you do is I'm going to have Marissa, I'm going to have you hook under his arm right there. Awesome. We're going to bring that hand up. I've returned her engagement ring to her at this point. So I really want to showcase that ring and showcase their love there. Turn your belly button towards him, and you're going to kind of snuggle right in there. So you can even just bring your legs apart just a little bit. Yeah. Yep. Perfect. And then Lucas, you have a beautiful woman, your fiance, holding on to you there. I'm just going to have you turn to acknowledge her. Okay. So what I want you to do, Marissa, is keep contact with me right here. Which one's your left hand? That one right there. Perfect. Yeah, let's bring it up there. So we're going to pretend that she has her beautiful ring on right there. Oh, look, we have a beautiful ring for you. Here you go. We can make you
Oh, fabulous.
a ring.
This is so romantic.
I know, right? It may not fit. You may have to size it appropriately.
Yes, Jennifer.
Yes. We just proposed live at Adorama here today, and she said yes. Aren't you guys excited?
Actually, this would be the 4th wedding that happened to me.
Oh, well,
Married twice.
way to make me feel not so excited anymore. All right, so
It's just a special place.
So again, in this particular moment, I want to make sure that her hands are placed properly to make sure that we see that ring there. I just want you to snuggle in, pretend you're cold there. Lucas, you're going to kind of acknowledge her there. And again, we're going to adjust our white balance so Seth doesn't say anything again.
Did you want to do a demo with the wrong white balance? Did you?
I mean, I would love to do a demo with the wrong white balance. I'm going to have you get in super close to him. So this lens also goes down to 2.8. And I love that. I gave her permission to get in a little bit close. So she did. Can you guys make your noses touch right there? Okay, so we're using this as a prime lens from far away to tell the far part of their story there. But we can also, while they're doing that, is we can come in, go right back there when you're ready, guys, is we can come in nice and close and get that ring. You guys can relax. You can get that ring nice and close in there as well. I spent a lot of money on that baby there. So again, I personally don't use the macro for very many portraits, but it does allow me to have that versatility of using it as a beautiful portrait lens, getting close in, close out, getting that ring and everything like that to tell some of those B-roll part of their story. What time? Oh, we got time. We got time. Questions from the audience? Yes. So the question was, is some of the prime lenses have a very short focal distance? Why not use one of those? So for the 50 millimeter, for example, we can focus in, gosh, it's like what, 16 inches, 12 inches? I don't know. Let's find out. That's not the 50. That one is. Cool. So his question was basically, why am I just not using the 50 to shoot a ring? Which you could, if that's the way that you'd like to tell stories. So I haven't moved my setup here. I just turned my light off. So if I turn that light back on, and I turn my rim light back on here, let's see how close I can get. All right. So I'm here about where I was before. I can't even focus on the ring. So I'm gonna have to back out a little bit. That is as close as I can get there, which again, we have the pixels, we can pixel peep and everything like that. We could crop in post, but for me, when I'm telling a story here, which one do you want to work with in post?
The other thing about a macro lens that I don't think people realize, it's the 1-to-1 ratio. It's actual life size. So when she's that close, that's what that would look like life size.
They always talk about how some of these prime lenses can get this close.
Yeah. So can you guys go back and do that pose one more time? With the hand up on the shoulder there. Just bring your faces nice and close together there. So in this case, yes, I'm happy to have my 50 right here. And I can take almost the same shot that I took. Again, I said I don't necessarily use my macro lens very often. Can you tell the difference? Yeah. So again, both beautiful photos. It's kind of like pizza, right? We have the same elements in the frame. There's two people, they're sharing a moment together, they're smiling at each other, we're showing off her ring. Either one could work. But some people prefer a very specific pizza over another pizza. And as the creator, as the artist, I get to make that decision for my couples. And I attract the couples that like the same kind of pizza that I do. Yeah. Hey, now I just want pizza. I'm like, I'm in New York. I guess I'm having pizza for dinner. It's the only thing that New York has, right? Just pizza? Just pizza. Bagels. Oh, I kind of want a bagel now. I bet the 28 to 70 would know exactly where to get a good bagel. That beefy little beast.
All right.
I am good. I am good. I'm just thinking of bagels and pizza now. Okay.
Yeah. New York is only known for carbs, apparently. That's all we got.
Oh, give me all the carbs. Do I have any other questions out there? Yeah.
So macro comes in just what millimeter?
So what millimeters does the macro come in? I know for Canon, they have, oh gosh, mine is 100 millimeter macro. I don't know off the top of my head the other ones that they make, but each brand has one a little bit different. I sometimes accidentally call it the 90 millimeter macro because when I started photography, I had a 90 millimeter macro lens, and my husband likes to remind me every time I ask for the 90 that it's actually 100. Wedding relationship tip, 90 is pretty close to 100. So
Macros for any brand usually range between 50 to 200.
thank you. You guys want to do like one more thing? Yeah. Cool.
Hold on. We need a little more life. If you don't all scream yes, I'm shutting this whole place down. On the count of three, everybody scream yes. 1, 2, 3, scream yes.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. So let's see. Because I dragged this lens all the way here, should we try the 70 to 200 and see what we can do? Rock on, guys. I know, I carry it around like it's a mug, and I'm gonna put my ring on before I lose it. I'm gonna clean up all my little duckies here. Yeah, right?
That was my retirement plan, was that ring.
Yeah, right? All right, so we'll clean everything up here, and I always like to put things back where I found them.
We can have a sticker.
I already like stole 6 when you weren't looking, so. Yeah, they do have some really cool stickers. All right, so 70 to 200 means we need to back up a little bit further or zoom in closer, right? We are not in a large space. Okay, that's totally fine. So we can make that work. I think since we haven't done anything with our couple sitting and they have been standing this entire time, we'll just do a fun pose of them having a seat. I think we can lower that light down just a little bit. And no, physically, so we don't get some raccoon eyes here. So I'm going to build my couple a bench a little bit further out here. I could have actually used the chairs, but I kind of like the way that these, I'm going to shoot out that way. Yeah. How do you never get invited back? Make fun of Quinn. Ask to use Quinn. Make Seth move a light in the middle of a demo.
I think I've been very hospitable.
Seth, I adore you. All right, so
I'll say
before,
Jen has always helped me out with my demos on trade shows, so she's getting a lot of carte blanche here.
so before we get our couple seated, we want to make sure we know exactly what is in frame. Because again, once you have somebody sit down, to ask them to get up to move something slightly, they don't love it, to be completely honest. So I just want to find the coolest angle here. Yeah. All right. So we are going to shift these things over. Can somebody do me a favor and move that Profoto Pro D3 sign just to the other side? Awesome. So you guys may not be able to see, or maybe you can see, go that way with it. In the storefront here, there's all these really cool colored lights back there, and I kind of would like that in the background of my frame. So I don't know if the cameras can see it or not. So I'm gonna move these over a little bit here. All right, so hopefully there's enough space for your bums on there, but I'm gonna have Lucas have a seat for me. And you're gonna square up to me, so you're gonna be facing me right here. You can get a little comfortable with those feet. They're not gonna be in it for this particular shot, but you can be comfortable with those. Sorry, Quinn. Girl, thanks for being here. All right, Marissa, I'm having you have a seat next to him, but I'm gonna have you sit down with your back to him.
Oh.
Okay, so he's gonna be your backrest. So I'm giving her reasons why she's faced away from her. Actually, I'm gonna have you guys swap sides again, sorry. So Lucas, if you can go this way. Awesome, just like that. Perfect. So I'm giving her a reason of why she has her back to him. He's gonna be your backrest. And then Lucas, what I want you to do is, just kind of reach around that beautiful woman there, and you're gonna scooch in a little bit closer to him. Perfect. So what I'm trying to do is get their faces and their bodies nice and close together. When two people sit shoulder to shoulder, you can't, when you snuggle with that person, it's weird, right? I've now made it so she can literally just lay in his lap if she wanted to. Because if she brings her elbow out here and leans that way, and he can grab onto it, they can bring their faces as close as they want together there, as close as they're comfortable. So let's see what we got here. I'm gonna have you guys bring your faces a little bit closer. I'm gonna have you guys focus in on each other. So Marissa, bring your face close. You guys are gonna look at each other's lips, bring your heads nice and close together, cross-eyed close. Good. And again, with this zoom lens here and that 2.8, we could zoom out a little bit. It's actually having me at f4 right now, but if I wanted to kind of get people out of the background, I can adjust my ISO to get back down to that 2.8 or adjust my shutter speed. And get some of those beautiful colored lights back there and zoom in without me moving, right? And And Marissa, I'm gonna have you look right here at me. Lucas, keep paying attention to her. And kind of take a peek at him. Okay. So again, without moving my couple, without moving me, without doing too much extra, you guys can relax, without doing too much extra here, with that lens, we were able to get a good variety there. I zoomed in, I zoomed out. I could have got a little bit closer, but I didn't love the lighting on her face, so zooming in isn't really gonna get me anything in this particular setup. But I have those colorful lights back there, adding a little bit of drama to the background. That 2.8 adds that little bit of bokeh that we love as photographers, that we eat up and can't get enough of. And that's natural in the lens. That's not something I added in post there. Because if we were using some of the tools we have at our disposal, we can add artificial in. But why would I do that if I can get it while I'm on location in person, right? With some of these lenses here. I love the moment that they're sharing together when I zoom in, right? He just looks like he adores her, right? And again, we could push that emotion just a little bit more. We could get them to giggle. I could have him like kind of squeeze her hip or something and get her to laugh. I could have him wrap her up like it was really cold. He has the ability to turn towards her and give her a big bear hug. We could break that pose up or down depending on their comfort level and everything like that. I feel like that's a great place to wrap this up. Unless anyone else wants to see something, or if anyone has any questions. Yes, question.
Shoot in shutter priority.
Yes, I shoot in shutter priority for, I'd say, 95% of the time. Because it's just how my brain works, to be completely honest. I know that I don't have the most steady hands in the entire world, so I'd rather be in control of what I know is going to be a shutter speed that captures frozen moments or things that are in focus. So I'm happy to adjust some of the other things to tell that story. So I'm first thinking of what is the minimum shutter I need to capture the scene in front of me? What is my f-stop that I'd like to be around? For me, there's not too much difference between like 1.2, 1.4, 2.0. If you put them all next to each other, yes, there is a difference. Don't get me wrong on that. But when we're telling these stories, there's not a crazy difference between that. There is a crazy difference between like 1.2, 4, 8. Like there's big differences between those. So I'm adjusting that shutter speed to make sure I'm getting my f-stop in that range. And then my ISO is where I come in clutch, right?
And use the shutter speed to get your ISO f-stop that you want.
I am using my shutter speed to get close to the f-stop I want by finishing that off with that ISO. It's that exposure triangle you're working with. Yeah.
You have a question online. Carol Deanda, sounds like a fake name. Is there any prompts you use, say, to couples who have a hard time being natural in front of the camera? So,
are there any specific prompts that I use for couples who have a hard time being natural in front of the camera? So typically what I'll do, I don't have anything super specific. I just try to match their level. I've matched like their weirdness and my weirdness together, so they feel super comfortable with me. She got here and she's like, yo, we met, we are potatoes, we're having potatoes at the wedding. And I'm gonna be like, girl, what you don't know is my dog, when he goes to sleep at night, he goes what we call full potato, where he sits and his little belly pops out and he just kind of like falls over like a potato, okay? So now my weirdness matches her weirdness, okay? So then she automatically is like, oh my gosh, we are gonna have ketchup and we're gonna name it after your dog. And I'm like, great, I love that. The midnight snack at the wedding is now named Doc and Marty. I got it, this is perfect, right? So I don't necessarily have anything super, super specific. I have weird little jokes or weird little things I'll get in there to get a giggle from people. But I would say my biggest tip is to try to just really get to know somebody on a human level. Yeah, it's just about having the time in front of the camera and just keep going. If it doesn't feel like it's working, it's probably not. And then move on, try something different. You can try the pose again, you can try it in a different spot. Or perhaps not every pose works for every couple. It's not part of the way that they interact. Maybe they never hold hands, right? We as a society dictated that to be in love, you must hold hands with the person that you love. Maybe they link arms, right? Maybe that's more their speed. And she's like, oh, you're so strong. And she like reaches over and grabs his muscle and stuff like that. I'm hoping to discover this vibe at their engagement session so then I can use it again next time I photograph them or at the wedding. I'm going to have the story in advance, and then I'm going to use the tools of posing and my lenses and all that stuff to get that story across for my couples. Yes. So if you guys had fun with me today, I had so much fun being here today. You can follow me. Guys? You can follow me across the globe this upcoming year. I feel like I am done with in-person stuff for the rest of 2025 because I have Santa Claus arriving at my studio later this week. So I have to devote some of my time and attention to him. But 2026, I'm going to be traveling across the states here. I'm headed to London to teach and everything like that. Please join me. I would love to have you. And please introduce yourself if you're tuning in from anywhere. I would absolutely love to meet you. If you just prefer to follow my adventures, here are all the ways you can follow me. You can follow my husband and our photography business. Or join my mailing list and I'll email you things every once in a while.
Thanks, Jen. Everybody clap.